The average British family today is £1,100 richer each year because of money still flowing from former colonies. The London Stock Exchange, powering your pensions and investments, was built with capital from slave plantations. The elegant Georgian townhouses of Bristol, the grand Victorian railways, and even the NHS's founding capital, all traced directly to colonial extraction. When Britain paid to free slaves in 1833, it wasn't the slaves who received compensation. It was 46,000 British slave owners who received the modern equivalent of £17 billion. Their descendants walk among Britain's wealthiest families today, their fortunes laundered by time, but still growing. This is an ancient history. It's your bank balance. The British Empire's economic model was brilliantly simple. Extract resources at minimal cost from colonies, process them in Britain, and sell finished goods back to captive colonial markets at premium prices. India's thriving textile industry was systematically dismantled, with Indian cotton shipped to Manchester's mills, then sold back to Indians as cloth, destroying local industry while creating British millionaires. By 1800, India's share of world manufacturing collapsed from 25% to just 2%, while Britain's rose from 2% to 18%. This wasn't free market competition, it was engineered wealth transfer on an unprecedented scale. Today's financial giants, Barclays, Lloyds, HSBC, built their early fortunes financing colonial ventures. Barclays Bank was founded by families deeply involved in the slave trade. Lloyds of London insured slave ships and their human cargo. The Bank of England provided the financial architecture for imperial expansion, creating monetary systems that ensured profits flowed back to London. These institutions pioneered financial instruments we still use today: loans, insurance policies, and stock offerings, all refined through colonial commerce. The architectural grandeur of the City of London stands as physical testament to colonial wealth extraction. Britain's head start in industrialization wasn't just ingenuity, it was funded by colonial capital. Railways that transformed Britain were built with profits from colonial trading companies. The ports of Liverpool and Bristol were expanded using wealth from slave plantations. Urban water systems, roads, and public buildings, the infrastructure Britons use daily, was substantially funded by imperial profits. This infrastructure advantage compounds across generations, creating the baseline of Britain's modern economic position. A factory built with colonial money in 1850 might be gone, but the economic advantages it created continue multiplying. Unilever, one of Britain's largest companies, began as Lever brothers using palm oil from colonial West Africa, obtained through systems of forced labor. Tate and Lyle built its sugar empire on Caribbean plantations. Mining giant Rio Tinto extracted copper using colonial concessions. These corporations evolved and diversified, but their early colonial advantages created market dominance that persists today. Corporate histories rarely mention these origins. Tate Modern's galleries don't discuss how the fortune behind the museum began with sugar cultivated by enslaved people. These sanitized narratives hide how colonial wealth became respectable modern capital. The formal empire ended, but economic structures remained. London still serves as the financial hub for former colonies, extracting wealth through unequal trade relationships, intellectual property laws, and corporate ownership structures. British pension funds own significant stakes in African and Asian resources. Former colonies remain primary producers, while value-added processing happens in Britain, the same pattern established during imperial rule. The Commonwealth isn't just a diplomatic club, it's an economic sphere where British companies enjoy privileged access, maintained through soft power rather than gunboats. Britain's modern prosperity isn't simply the result of innovation and hard work. It represents the compound interest on imperial investments, generations of wealth accumulation built on extractive systems. This isn't about guilt, but understanding. The economic advantages of empire didn't disappear with the lowering of colonial flags. They transformed, compounded, and embedded themselves in modern institutions. Britain's head start in the global economy wasn't an accident of history. It was methodically constructed through imperial power and continues to shape who prospers today. You've been watching Imperial Fortunes on Vintage World. If you found this exploration of economic history revealing, support our channel by subscribing and sharing. Next week, We'll examine how colonial educational systems shaped cultural hierarchies that persist today. Until then, remember that economies, like buildings, rest on foundations laid generations ago, even when those foundations remain largely invisible.